So I'm Claire. I'm a voice teacher. I'm a voice coach in Los Angeles, California, but I teach people all over the world. I am someone who I work with people of all ages, all stages, and I help, a lot of people, actors in the industry learn how to sing. I help prepare them for roles. I work with, um, like Broadway people. I work with, complete beginners, and it's just all over the world, and it's like super fun. And my approach is very holistic. So I would say I'm very much what I'm known in the industry for is getting results on multiple different levels. It's not about the technique, it's actually about the mind, body, and spirit connection. And I'm also a life coach. And so I never thought that would happen, but it just happened naturally as I got into it because I've always been into that stuff, but I never thought they would somehow match. And throughout the years, I've noticed that I would incorporate that because then I would first try and do all these techniques like that I was taught, but none of them had any of this stuff. And so then I would use it. It was just random. And then suddenly it was like, oh my gosh, huge results.
Yeah.
And so blocks would come undone and then people could hit the note. And it was just like, wow. So yes.
Amazing. Oh my gosh. Okay. There's so much that we can talk about here. So this is strange. This is a strange one because obviously when you say, I want to be doctor, I want to be a teacher, there are avenues that you have to kind of hit to do that. How do you become a vocal coach? How, what is that kind of
so random? I mean, no, it's not random at all. I don't know. I mean, most people go to a fancy school. There's nothing wrong with that, but I didn't, and I thought that's what I needed. I found that the best teachers didn't necessarily go to a school. They found maybe the best teachers. A lot of teachers don't go to schools. And so the point of going to a school is to find a mentor. But if you find a mentor and it's outside of a school, that's amazing. I was lucky to find several mentors throughout my life. And I didn't think I was going to ever teach. I wanted to be on Broadway and I wanted to be maybe an opera singer. I wasn't sure. And I just did it because I loved it. And then I graduated college and I didn't know what to do. And I started teaching. And it turned out I knew a lot. I just didn't know how to incorporate it. And slowly through time I did. But then I kind of did my own thing as well. So how does one become a coach? That's I don't know how to say that. You have to, of course, study something for years, but it doesn't have to be some kind of like a what do you call it? Like conservatory. And like, I don't believe in like copying some technique that some guy 200 years ago came up with and now we just do his technique. Everything is constantly changing. I think that's what makes me so successful is that I'm pioneering a new way of singing. And a lot of it is from things that have already existed, stuff that I'm learning from others daily. And now it's my own stuff as well. And I think we should all do that together with singing because it's not like we can't just have this bel canto technique. It's not complete. You can do bel canto with this, and then maybe this new mind trick. And then in 100 years, we'll know more. But that's how I believe everything is.
It's wonderful to hear. I mean, everybody does things differently, and I guess that this is what we're getting at. But I mean, when I was in school, certainly, it was if you want to be any kind of performer or creative, you must go to drama school or university or something, And I mean, for me, I did, but me personally, and it's different for everybody. But I was like, the more I do, the more I learn. Yes. Sat there being told this is this and this is that, just it didn't work for me.
Well, my sister, I don't know if you guys know my sister, she's a famous actress. Her name's Dove Cameron. She did a lot of Disney stuff. She's like very successful and famous in the industry, so I know a lot about that stuff. I know like a lot of producers and directors, and they always say like it doesn't matter how much, like if you go to a school, how much you study any of that. Most successful people, they didn't go to schools, or like they didn't. And like that's what they'll tell you, like don't waste your time going to college, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, like these people that you work with, these are like your tools. This is the skill. This is the this is what it's about. And the more you learn on the job, the more, and also the more you fail is the better you become, for sure. I've fallen down so many times, and the children that I teach say to me, but Jen, how do we get back up after this? And I'm like, what did you learn? Tell me what you learned from that. And what is that? So now how that feels. Now you know what that experience is. Let's take that and let's put it together. And I think for me, I can say to my kids, like, I don't have a degree. I've had several training elements. I've trained in so many different places at so many different times, but I have no degree. I don't. But I've made my success from, like you say, building it up, working with people, learning, trying things. Yeah.
That's it. I mean, I feel like we're all in this together. There's no like, well, he taught me, she taught me. It's like, I don't even know where I learned this stuff from. It's just, it's an amount, and who cares if I came up with it, it doesn't matter. It doesn't even belong to us. It is of this world, and we are all together doing this, right? There's no ownership of it. And I think the second that you own it, like in that kind of egotistical way, ego is okay sometimes, but if you own it, and it puts that pressure on you. I don't know if you read Elizabeth Gilbert's Big Magic, but she talks about, so good, it talks about like the genie or our inner genius, and like these days we're so obsessed with ourselves and like, I came up with it, I'm this amazing actor. But years ago it used to be about like centuries ago, your inner genius, your genie basically came up with it. If you wrote something amazing, you wouldn't say I did it. It was like, well, my genius did it. Like you were channeling someone else. Or if you really like messed up on something, it's like, well, it wasn't my fault. It was, I had a crappy, like, wow, you had a really crappy, you know what I mean? So it was never pressure. Like that's how art should be.
Absolutely. Right? Absolutely. And I think it's called the creative arts. It's not called the creative art. It's not just one person. It's not just one being. It's not just one. It's together. And I think this is the thing. It's always, I don't know how it's portrayed where you are, but when we were kids, it was almost like a fearful thing. If you're in the creative arts, it's terrifying. Everyone's horrible. And you have to push past people, and you have to like it's a solo thing. You're on your own. It's all about you. And like the moment you think about that and you think this is all about me, it's just such a lonely and awful place. Like you're just like, no, it's not. And the moment you stand on stage with a company, or the moment you're in a rehearsal and you're all together and you think, this is what it's about. This is it.
This is it. That's why you do it. That's exactly why you do it. That's it.
Absolutely.
There's almost like this fusion, because I love acting as well. Like when you're on stage, there's this fusion when you're on stage of acting or singing or whatever, or coming together as a company. And there's this unity, either like when you're on your stage, but I think that's what every single person talks about. It's like God or whatever, the universe, you feel at one. And that's not just at certain moments on stage, that's everywhere. And I think that's if you're lucky. And if you're wise or something, you will live that way. If you're miserable, it'll either won't work. It usually doesn't work that way if you're just doing it for yourself, or you might make it, but then you'll be miserable, right?
Yeah, and there's, it's such a tough industry to be in. You want to enjoy it. You want to, you want to take those moments, and even if it turns out to be something that you think, I didn't know what was happening, but embrace it and learn from it, and take it and go, yeah, we've got this. So how do you, when you were growing up, did you have that ambition you were saying about being a performer, was that kind of the path that you saw yourself going on?
Yeah, I think growing up, I was a really shy kid. And so like, I was super shy, and I didn't really see that at first. I wanted to like secretly deep down, but I think my sister was always, she's 7 years younger. She was always like this, I don't know, wherever we went, she lit up at places. And I just felt like the more she lit up, the more I just kind of dimmed myself. And it was like, oh, I guess I'm not special. And so like, I just didn't think about that as myself. And then I discovered it when I was maybe 14 in theater, and suddenly it was like, wow, I have it inside of me. Like I had this drastic misunderstanding, as a lot of children do when another sibling is born. It's like, well, I guess I'm not the special one anymore. And I forgot my own self-expression and my light. And then suddenly all this was inside of me, all this, I don't know, it just felt like the world was inside of me, this universe. Yeah. And suddenly it connects you so well with people on stage too. So, I didn't want it until I was maybe 14. And then I was like, yes, I want this life. I want this life of art. So, yeah.
Absolutely. So the journey of being a vocal coach, we've kind of chatted about. So how do you pick out like the best moments you've had in your career so far? How do you distinguish those? Is that like a pillar of, oh my goodness, how did I get here? Or is it working with a particular person or a style? How do you pick out your like wow moments then?
Wow. That's such a great question. I would probably say, wow, there's so many good ones. I would say getting really like working in studio with artists and hearing what like the producer wants, and suddenly being able to help them get what they want really, really fast and be like, hey, I'm actually working with like pretty successful artists in the studio, and somebody just said like, I want this, and I'm like, how do I even, and we do some kind of weird intuitive mind thing, and I'm able to bridge the gap between what this producer wants and what this singer gets, and suddenly it's not just art, it's not just technique, there's like spirit in there. I don't know, but there's this, it's almost, I'm a life coach as well, so there's probably the moment of realizing I don't have to follow what someone else has told me that this has to be. I actually have made this my own, which I don't even know what I'm doing. It's kind of my own thing. And that's why I think it has had success, because it's diving deeper into this inner deep knowing that's not like, well, this is the technique. And the deeper I dive, the more amazing results I get and the more people come. And so it's like, I don't even know, like, I'm not even religious, but I'm spiritual. It's some kind of God thing, but I think we all have it in whatever art form we have. And I think one of the biggest aha moments was, oh, I don't have to do what this teacher, like one of my teachers was not my favorite. She was like, studied at Yale, and she was, you have to do it this way. And if, you do it your own way, this is the way. And I was like, feeling all these other intuitions, these impulses. And I didn't listen to myself. And then suddenly one day I did. And suddenly people were like, what is that? And it was like, oh, I should have listened to myself. And it sounds so simple, but it's such an aha moment of, I was right. These were right. Outside world telling me, no, these are the techniques. Don't make a new path. It's wrong. Listen to yourself, no matter how crazy it might sound. And that was a huge aha of like, people will pay me well for listening to this. That was an aha moment. And I'm still learning to trust that, but that's not what we're taught. And it's like, you got to go to a school, you have to be that, right?
Absolutely. But isn't it wonderful when you, like you say, you trust your gut, you trust yourself, and you do what you do. And that's what I say to the children. You just do you.
Yes.
And somebody takes a chance on you and what you do, and you go, oh my goodness, I don't have to be like so and so. I don't have to be like this. I don't have to, preach this. I just have to go, what is it that you want? Who am I working with? And how are we going to get there together?
Exactly.
Boom.
And we say it, you can understand it, but when it hits, it's like, wow. And then the world opens up, and suddenly you get all these casting calls, these things, and that's when you're like, aha. Because that star quality, that it factor, I truly believe it's in all of us. And it's not like you have to find it. It's there. You just unblock it. And so once you've unblocked it, there is not another you in this universe. That's what makes you star power.
Yeah, exactly.
See it, and I didn't see it until I did. When you do, that's when you start booking the roles as well. When you start unblocking all these things, these beliefs, it's amazing.
Yeah, and it's when people say, don't they? They say, oh, I love working with Claire. Claire's great to work with because of this, and this, and then somebody else can look at it and go, but I'm a vocal coach. I'm a this, that, and the next thing. I can do this, and this. Why do they want you and not me? And it's like sometimes it's just you.
It's you.
It's so hard to explain, and I say to people all the time, like parents of the kids that I teach are like, I don't know what it is, Jen, but whatever it is about you, my kid just can't get enough of it. Like
it's you.
I'm like, it's just me. They go, oh, they've tried all these other drama schools, these other drama classes, groups and stuff, but whatever it is, they just seem to like resonate, and they just seem to keep coming back to you. And I'm like, it must just be the way that I teach, and the way that I am with them, and the way that I treat them, and the way that we work together. It's nothing against anybody else. Nobody else is doing anything wrong. It's just for whatever reason that particular child or the company really just finds something in you, and you get that, that relationship, that rapport, and it's like, this just works.
It works. And also, I mean, for the people watching this being like, man, like I'm a vocal coach, or I'm an acting teacher, like what, I see that, and I want to have that. It's not like you and I have something special, or you could say we are special. We're all special, but you know what I mean? What we're doing, I think one way to, if you're like wondering, how do I do that? It's you. Just learn ways to unblock. It's like that Rumi quote of like, there's no love out here. There's no finding love. You're just removing all those layers of obstacles that you created to love. So learn to unblock yourself. Do stuff like if you feel like you're getting, maybe, I don't know, jaded or like whatever, blocked. When your core and your essence is blocked, people will feel it. Do things that unblock your essence. Right?
Unleash you.
Unleash you. People will come if you know that there's deep down all these things you want to be doing, or even like, oh, I want to be eating more of this, or I want just what all these wants are. Start listening to them. You'll start shining. Be in alignment. That's it. Alignment with yourself will draw people. When you're not in alignment, not that I'm saying it's your fault, you're out of alignment, you're people, but in a way, when I was out of alignment, I had way less clients than now. And the more alignment I get, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So
absolutely
you can
crazy.
Anyone can. It's really you, because there is not another you out there. Yeah.
Absolutely. So the joy of being a vocal coach, then, kind of what are the best elements of that for you?
Oh, that's such a great question. Probably seeing the breakthroughs. So like the breakthroughs of like, yes, I got it. And it's like so exciting. I got the role, all of that. That's amazing. But also who they become in the process.
Yeah.
It's actually a moment of becoming. It's becoming. So you cannot, in my opinion, become that great singer and go through those you cannot do a fake through. You can have a fake breakthrough, but to actually transform and do that, there has to be a full transformation. And sometimes we'll have a conversation in almost like a life coaching session that'll change them. Most of the time not, though. We'll do weird exercises and stuff, but then they might cry, or maybe not, but somehow they leave and it's like a chiropractic spiritual adjustment. But we don't even, I don't want people to think that we don't talk about anything almost ever. It's a singing lesson, but somehow stuff shifts. And that's my gift. I don't know how. And then, you have your gift, whatever it is that our gifts are, that's my gift. And so I don't know why, but then they somehow, through time, they change as people.
Yeah.
And so that's probably my greatest thing. And so in order to actually be able to hit those notes and stuff, beliefs have to change as well.
Yeah.
And so we don't actually really talk. Sometimes we'll talk for 5 minutes, but it's not a big, it just happens. And so that's probably my greatest joy, because it's like, it's the person. So
it's the journey, isn't it? It's the journey. You get a student in and you see them for who they are to start with, and then you have a couple of lessons and you say to them, do you realize what you've done? Like, can you look back on that journey? Because for me, sat here, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, look at what you've done in such a short space of time. And it's when they don't see it, and then all of a sudden that light bulb moment, and they're like, oh, I see it now, and you're like,
Yes, I do. How about you? What's like your greatest joy?
Do you know what? I think very similar to you, but it's when they start to believe and they didn't before. That's it for me. That's it for me. You get, I mean, a lot of my students are young, but I teach teenagers and kind of anybody and everybody really. But when they have this self-doubt or this, I don't think this is for me, but I just thought I'd give it a go, or terror, pure terror of standing on the stage in front of people, that I just, Jen, I don't feel like I can do this. I love singing at home, but this is a different shift. This is, and you work so hard on a production or a performance or something, and you see them shine, and you go, do you know what, that for me, I love rehearsals, because that's where you can create and really get the juicy stuff, because I love all of that. But when I can sit back and watch my students when they do their performance, that for me, it's that pride,
It's that pride.
And I stand on stage and I sing and I feel happy, but I don't feel that sense of pride that I do when I see what the students have produced. It's a totally different feeling for me personally, anyway.
Yeah, no, I so understand. It's just different, and it's such a contribution. It's such a contribution. Yeah.
It's so is. So talk about for you then, singing wise. Do you have a favorite genre, favorite style? And if somebody said to you, Claire, I want you to sing us a song, what would be your go-to one?
Ooh, and oh my gosh, and I would totally sing it, but my voice is so exhausted from the week. My favorite song. Oh wow, so genre, I would say musical theater. I love all genres. I even love rap, depending on like what the subject is about, right? So it's like But I think I love musical theater the most, because it's like a story and you go through such a metamorphosis, and I could listen to, I mean, you just put it on, you could be driving or whatever, and it's like this. It's because I love songs, but it's something about a journey and a story and a transformation. You go along with it. It's amazing.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I would say musical theater, and because also it requires so much technique and support, and I don't know, it just requires all of you. So yeah, I would say
and like you can really, I mean, you can to some level in like pop and jazz and classical, you can you can journey somewhat.
Yeah.
But with musical theatre, you're like, I could literally make you cry or laugh or both in a 3-minute song.
In a 3-minute song, and you to me, I feel like you reach the most people, at least for me. Like you, like Wicked the musical, like I don't know if you've seen it, but it's like
yes,
grown muscly giant men who are like, maybe ever cry, they're bawling and their lives changed, right? So it's
and that's the beauty of theatre in general, isn't it? You know, like you could be somebody who says like, this is so not my bag, like I just and you manage to persuade them to watch, and you can just transform people. You can take people somewhere where they just never imagined to be. And also you can fixate so many different emotions in such a short space of time, and you can draw on your own emotions. You think like, there's no other job here that requires this.
Oh, no, not at all. Like, it's the best gift ever. And there's singing and dancing, and it's beautiful. And it requires all of your senses when you watch. Yeah, right? Yeah. Really
exactly. Good. So if somebody said to you, you could be a member of a band, what band do you think you would want to be in?
Ooh, like a certain band that exists already?
Yeah. Or like if you could put a band together, are there people that you'd want to be in a band together with?
Ooh, probably, let's see, probably my sister, just because I love her. Let's see, probably Sarah Bareilles, because I do music. Yeah.
Such a wonderful tone to her voice as well.
Such a great tone. That's such a great question. Probably, let's see, Philippa Sue from Hamilton. She's amazing. Yep. Lin-Manuel Miranda, Idina Menzel, and Krista Chenoweth, just because she's lovely.
You literally have like a powerhouse band.
Yes, and they're such great people. So it's like, who wouldn't, love to be around that? Yeah.
Absolutely. So if you could live anywhere in the world, where do you think you'd want to live?
Oh, probably Greece or Spain.
Okay.
Yeah, probably Greece or Spain, just because it's like the Mediterranean. I don't know, people seem so warm. I've lived in Paris before and I love it. And though I like cultures that are like a little warmer, like by the ocean or something. Heat, even though I love living in Paris, right? But so just a warmer climate. Yeah.
Yeah. And everybody seems so relaxed and genuine. You genuinely feel like so kind and open and yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I love it.
So top 5 favorite movies. If somebody said to you, you're having a girls' night, what would be the films that you would want to watch?
Oh my gosh. Let me see. Girls' night, favorite movies. There's so many. Probably. Okay, so there would be a combination of things. Probably things like goofy, things like Hot Chick, the Hot Chick. It's really my friends and I watched when we were like in middle school, but we still think they're funny. Probably like a Disney movie, so like maybe Enchanted.
Yes, one of the best.
One of the best, so good. Enchanted. Probably. The Notebook's never really gotten me, so probably not The Notebook. It's so funny.
Oh no! Oh, I don't want to cry. I just don't want to cry at girls' night.
Probably Titanic, actually. I know it's like horrible, but
it is.
It's so good. Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Yeah. And then, oh my gosh, I'm the worst at picking out movies. It takes me forever to decide. Probably maybe like West Side Story. To like have another good cry. As soon as I cry. And then last but not least, probably some kind of horror movie. I like horror movies. Yeah.
Okay. So something to terrify you before you went to sleep.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe at the beginning. I like to have a combination. I'm kind of weird that way. I like to have everything.
Yeah, I think like it depends, doesn't it? It depends who you're with, depends how you're feeling.
Exactly.
And like throughout the night.
Sometimes you're in the mood to be campy and like, let's just be all like corny and like watch this. Another one is like, I don't care about guys. It's so stupid. Whatever. Another time it's like, oh my God, like it's such a bad movie. Let's watch it. You know what I mean?
Literally, I know it so depends. It depends on how you're feeling and everything. 100%. And what would you say would be your go-to movie snack? What would you go for?
Snack. Well, if I were to be good, I would do kale chips. But if I were gonna be like bad, I'd probably be like movie popcorn with movie butter all over it, because I always get a stomachache after, but it's so good. So that with like nerds and nerds rope, all of that, I feel horrible after, but I feel so good after. I mean,
I know.
It's, once in a while you need to kind of dirty your system up a little.
Yeah, for sure. I know what you mean. And it's awful, isn't it? Because the hype beforehand, like you're like, yes, I can't wait for, we call it bad food.
Yeah, bad food. You think about it all day long.
Let's have it. And then you're eating it and you're like so satisfied. And then you finish and you're like, I feel so sick. Why did I do that to myself?
It's like sitting like a lump in your stomach. And you're like,
yeah. Why? Well,
it's okay. Sometimes you have to do it. It's okay.
Absolutely.
Right?
So as a vocal coach, is there somebody that you would just love to work with?
Ooh. Oh, wow. Yes. Probably.
Probably loads of people, right?
Lots of people. Probably the most I would love Alicia Keys. I would love to work with Alicia Keys.
Okay, yeah. That range is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's amazing. And then like of course some who are like having issues with their voices and who are like very public about it, I'd love to help them too, because they're like, they don't canceling again or they got another surgery, probably that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alicia Keys, probably just a really inspiring, maybe Rachel Platt, and they really inspiring singers.
Yeah.
What's her name? The one who's you say I'm strong when I say I'm weak. Well, no. Yeah, her, whoever she is, she's amazing too. I think really inspiring women singers.
That's so annoying. That's gonna bug me so much.
I know. I believe. So her. Probably all of them. I mean, so many, but like things like really cool people. Like how you want to work with people who you also just like to hang out with. Probably people like that, right?
I know, and that's the thing. Like when you do end up working with someone that you just click with, you're like, you just got to be buddies. Like we just and sometimes you do, don't you? You'll just meet someone and you're just like, I don't know what it is about you, but I feel like we just click.
That's it. That's the secret to, I think, getting hired and cast too, is just liking each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. That is the biggest thing. I mean, like, sometimes when you're hired to do a job, there's that fine line, isn't there, between like being besties with everyone and wanting people to, understand that we have got a job to do and we need to do it to the best of our ability. Exactly. But when you get along, it's just so much nicer to go to work and just be like, I feel relaxed. I feel like, and I feel like you do get more done.
You do. I do too. I mean, that's what I heard. I think people hire based on that. Like you gotta like the person as well. So yeah.
And have you ever come to the UK at all?
I did once last year. My sister was in a show and I visited her in London. It was so fun. I loved it. I love London, but my stepdad lives in Manchester, so I would love to visit there.
Oh, cool.
Or he doesn't live there. He lives in LA, but he's from Manchester. So yeah. Have you visited LA?
That's amazing. I haven't. I would love to. I've spoken to quite a few people actually out in LA and surrounding areas. And I'm like, I feel like I need to come now. Like there's so many people out where you are. I'm like, I feel like I need to. I feel like I should.
I mean, I don't think LA has that much. I mean, it's pretty, but I think you guys have a lot more culture and beauty and I don't know. Maybe it's what do you call it? Just, I know it's stereotype, but it's pretty here. It's very pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to.
I will have to come. I mean, I would love to. We had a New York trip planned last year, but obviously because of COVID and stuff, we didn't get to come.
Yeah. Oh, New York's amazing.
Oh, I would love to go. And again, I've interviewed so many people out in New York, and they're like, you need to come. You need to come and see this show, and you need to go and see this, and you need to.
Yeah, I could see you living in New York actually.
Oh, I would love to. I lived in London for a couple of years. When I studied and did some bits and bobs, I did live in London. It's a far cry from where I live now in West Wales. Like I say, we're on the beach, so it's
so cool.
It's very small. It's probably very similar to LA beauty-wise, but just colder.
No, I can imagine that.
Just cold. I mean, like at the moment, we're cold. It's cold.
I love it.
So if you could be a superhero, what superpower would you have and what would you call yourself?
Ooh, probably the ability to heal people, actually. Like,
that'd be wonderful.
I feel like my whole life I've been trying to do that with everyone around me. And it's been beautiful and tragic and all of that. And like, and myself. And so I don't know, I think that's probably one of the biggest things that I'm drawn towards is like healing and like not taking our problems away, but like I don't know, transforming. I don't know, maybe, yeah, just feeling.
Understand.
It really bothers me to see sadness and things like that. It just has always bothered me.
Yeah.
And so I'd probably be a healer. Like I'd be like, boom, boom, boom.
I know exactly what you mean. I mean, yeah, I think it's that sensitivity. When I was younger,
Yeah.
everyone used to say she's such a sensitive soul.
Yes, yes, me too. And I thought there was something wrong with me.
I mean, I was like, okay, is that a bad thing?
Yeah. Or they'd be like, you're so sensitive. Be like,
I'm
but
sorry.
But it's also it's amazing. It's a good thing
Yeah,
because you see so much, and also as actors and performers, we're able to see so much. And I think that's partly why I've loved acting as well, because you help heal people in an evening. You know, you hear them smiling in the
absolutely.
audience, or they're laughing or whatever, and it's healing.
Yeah.
Truth, I think, is super healing,
Massively, massively, and
right?
I think it's so underrated. It's so
Mm.
underrated. You know, people are always about all this fancy stuff, and you're like, actually, if we really strip this down and do bare basics here, like this
We're
is what we
okay.
need. You
Yeah,
know, like
it's the truth.
we're good.
The truth is what we.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, I mean, you guys have been in quarantine pretty much for as long as we have. What
Yeah.
has kind of kept you going? What have you been doing during quarantine? You know,
Yeah.
what, yeah, what's been going on for you?
Well, I have been just teaching my butt off, like 40 lessons a week, exhausted, but like good. I love it. I've
Yeah.
been moving. I got a puppy. I know.
Oh, baby, look at
No,
that.
this
Oh,
boy. I know. He's so
he's
beautiful.
so beautiful. He
And
is.
cat on the piano.
Oh, we've got cats. They're wonderful.
Right?
They're so wonderful.
So good. I've been doing a lot of inner work, like lots of journaling. Yeah, I think it's just been hard to like not be able to like hug anyone. So
Yeah,
probably
for
lots
sure.
of journaling and stuff. But it's caused me to have to just go inward and just face a lot of stuff I was sort of
Yeah.
keeping the edge without because I was keeping myself busy.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I'm still busy, but it's just different because now I can't go out. So it's good. It's good. It's good stuff. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, you know, you do busy yourself with all these things, and it's incredible to hear that you've been so busy because
Yeah.
sometimes I think like you worry about the impact of these things, you know, financially, are people going to
Yeah.
be able to afford to have your services? You know, that was my
Oh,
biggest
yeah.
thing, you know,
Yeah.
am I gonna be able to, you know, continue my work and continue
Yeah.
doing all these wonderful things with working with these incredible people? Are
Yeah.
people going to be able to do that? And
Yeah.
also as well, when you take a breath and stop and go look around and go, oh my goodness, I can't do this, 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 and this.
Yeah.
Journaling, I mean, everybody's different, but journaling and meditation for me, like,
Oh,
has been a savior. I can't
yeah.
even tell you.
Oh, yeah, no, no, same. Like when I become really scared, it's usually because I'm unaware of what's happening inside. And then when
Yeah.
I second I journal, it's like, there I am.
Yes.
Here I am. Okay.
It's like
Yeah.
you're checking in with yourself
With
because no,
yourself.
I mean, because you do it so much with others, right? You're
Yeah.
constantly
Yes.
checking in with everyone.
Oh
How are
my
you? How
God.
are you? How are you? And then
Yeah.
you're like, yoo-hoo,
How
what
am
about
I?
me?
Yeah. And I think I realized it was getting bad when people were like, how are you? And I literally couldn't tell them how I was. I was like,
Yeah.
and I would have to make up like, oh, blah, 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 but I didn't actually know. And it was
Yeah.
like, wow, I haven't checked with myself in a long time. So this is good. Yeah.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And I think it's so important that everybody finds their way of coping.
Yeah.
It is coping, isn't it? Because
It is.
it's like a new normal, you know,
It is.
like this whole thing. I mean, you know, for us here, it's like out of lockdown, in lockdown, out of lockdown, in lockdown, and you just don't know where you are. You know, like before Christmas, we were working on a song, all these different things, and then
Wow.
it's like, well, we're shutting you down again, and then you're
Yeah.
like, right, now we can't do anything. Now what do we do?
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that
Yeah. Yeah.
uncertainty and that struggle is
Yeah.
crazy hard.
It's
Is
crazy making. It's crazy
Yeah.
making because you feel like your life's not predictable. And as humans, I think we need that predictability, right?
Yes, absolutely. Because
Yeah.
you feel like you're on that tightrope, and you're like, oh, but I can't go back. Like
Yeah.
I can't step back, but
Yeah.
also there's no stepping forward. So what do I
Yeah.
do? I can't just stay
Yeah.
here. And
Yeah.
I think it
Yeah.
also is accepting that. It's accepting that everybody is in the same boat in some way or another, and
Yeah.
be able to support each other
Yeah.
is massively incredible. And I think
Mhm.
when everybody looks in on the creative arts now, I really hope that as a nation, it's seen as to more as what it actually is, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
People, it's so misconstrued so often, you know. People, like, we've pretty much gone full circle as to what we were talking about right at the start, that people
Yeah.
don't understand it, and
Yeah.
think it's very much a solitary thing. But
Yeah.
once I think people really realize, look at all these people coming together to create things all across the world, you know.
Yeah, all in like separate things, but making it
Yeah.
together. Yeah. Yeah. No,
And
it's
how incredible.
yeah, no, it's we need each other more than ever. We need each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think
Absolutely.
it's important and it's also important just to tell you the truth and say what's going on so that then you can
Yeah.
make art and all that because it's all one. You can't just I think the worst thing you can do is be like, I'm fine. And everyone else is
Oh,
like, I guess she's fine, and then I'm not fine. It's like just come together and yeah, tell the
absolutely.
truth. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, before we go, Claire, can you just round it off for me and say, what are your hopes and dreams for 2021 or the next year,
Oh,
or what do you kind of see yourself doing? Where do you want to
yeah.
be?
Yes. I want to have ultra clarity with the direction of my life. I'm really happy with where I am, but I also feel like there's just something else that I'm not seeing as well and that wants to come. So I want extra clarity. I also want, yeah, I just want a feeling of sturdiness and groundedness. And I think I want just lots of creativity with my friends and new friends, and just lots of projects that nourish me and that create good healing on the planet. Yes.
100%. That sounds wonderful. Well, thank you so much, because I know you are super, super busy.
Thank you. Thank you for this is so much fun. Thank you.
I really genuinely have had a lovely, lovely time chatting with you.
Yeah.
It's been wonderful to meet you, and I would love to keep in touch, and
I
maybe
would
we
love
can
that.
do some collaboration with
I
some of
would
the
love
kids
that.
that I work with. That would be amazing.
Love that. I would love that.
Amazing. Well, you take care of yourself. I'll send you
Yeah.
the link when it goes up on the channel too, so you can have a watch, share it, whatever you want to do.
Thank you. Okay, thank you so much, Jen.
No worries at all. Take care of yourself. I hope the rest of your sessions go well.
Thank you.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye.
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 Thank you so much, Claire. It was so wonderful chatting with you and amazing to hear about all the success that you've had so far. And I really hope it continues. Best of luck for 2021. Thank you all so much for continuing to watch. I really hope you're having a wonderful time listening to all of my incredible guests. And if you've got any ideas of anyone you'd love to hear me chat with, let me know and I'll see what I can do. Take care, everybody. See you soon.